whether you're running, sprinting, or even just walking. How it works is that when you strap the foot pod to your shoe, it sends a wireless signal to the wrist unit. So with that, when you're running, you can be running under shelter and practically running anywhere, uphill, downhill, it will still be measuring distance fairly accurately. Without calibration, it's in fact already 97% accurate.
Achieving my goal is always a bonus, but ultimately what matters most is I enjoy what I'm doing.
Well, all it takes is that first step and a little help. So when we return, we'll have a look at a lot more tech toys that will take your breath away even before you start your exercise. So don't run away.
Talk to me.
Well, hands up to those who groan at the thought of having to pull yourself out of bed on a rainy day just to clock in those exercise hours. Keeping fit is something you either like or, just like me, you don't. But we all know it is essential to keep a healthy lifestyle. Well, and the good news is there's a lot of hot and cool gadgets out there that will help you look and feel like a pro, even if you're not. And trust me, these things are so hot, it will make you jump out of bed just to use them. And I bet many of you out there don't know it's quite common our left foot and our right foot vary in length and width. So not only do we have to choose the right shoe for the exercise or the game we play, it's essential to get the right fit for optimum performance. But how do you make sure the shoe fits each foot perfectly? The answer? Customization. So if I'm a customer coming into your store, how would you sell me my Adidas?
Well, My Adidas is actually a customized performance shoe program for you. And basically, there's 3 steps to it. First, we'll measure your length and your breadth of each of your feet individually. Then you have to run through a scan pad that will determine your pressure points that's been distributed from the heel contact to the ground all the way to the lift-off the ground again. And then after that, you'll be able to know whether you're a pronator, that you need a control shoe, or you're somebody who needs more of a cushioning shoe. And the third part will be the most fun, where you get to customize in terms of color, in terms of personal sign-off on your left, as well as on your right shoe as well. The scan pad is actually called the foot scan. And basically, foot scan has got about 4,000 points on the magnetic plate. And what it does is it will help to capture all the pressure points as you run on it, from heel contact all the way to lift-off. And basically, it's accurate in terms of the pressure point distribution because it has got about 300 frames per second. So they're able to actually capture all the pressure points, no matter how fast or how slow you're running across, as long as it's your natural pace of running or natural posture of running.
Sounds like fun. I'm going to customize for myself a pair of soccer boots. The store offers 4 different types of shoes for customization for running, tennis, and soccer. Each model has 504 shoe molds. That works out to 2,016 different sizes, all available for you to try on until you find the best fit. With the help of technology, of course. My customization information is then sent to Germany to be analyzed. And my very own pair of soccer boots will be sent back to me 4 weeks later, ready for some action. Many of us like to go for walks or jogs with some music to jazz up our workout, and we often carry mobile phones so we won't miss any calls. Yet all these will add to the weight, not to mention the bother of having to carry too many devices at the same time. Well, one possible solution is to carry a sports phone. It can be strapped onto your arm.
We have incorporated the Walkman feature on the phone. With this Walkman feature on the phone, of course, consumers will get to enjoy music. And as we all know, music actually inspires a person to go that extra mile, whether they're jogging or doing exercise. So that will actually encourage or entice consumer to do more exercise.
And with a 512 megabyte memory card, there's no need to listen to the same songs again and again. The best feature of this phone is its fitness application. With it, you'll be able to know how many steps you've walked or the distance you've ran. So at the end of the workout, you'll be able to find out how many calories you've burned. Neat, isn't it?
The W710i has a motion sensor which basically sends a vertical motion of the body when you have it on your body. With this motion sensor, it actually is being triggered by a pendulum inside the phone. So once this pendulum moves as you move, it actually counts the number of steps that you've taken. And if you're running, it actually also counts the number of steps that you've run. We have also made it a big screen on the front so that the consumer can see what is the song that's being played right now. And of course, there's also 4 buttons outside on both sides. So it has a feature of going to the forward, backward, can play, can pause, or you can even exit the whole Walkman application while you're jogging. The design itself, when you look at the phone, you can see that the front of the phone itself is rubberized, so it gives a good grip when you're jogging. So if you're perspiring in any way, you will not slip the phone and drop on the floor.
Oh, look at that, 1,500 steps. Not bad. This phone actually records each and every single step I make on a daily basis, and if I improve after a week or so, it will award me with a virtual gold medal. Not bad. I'm ready to take the challenge. Calling all avid runners and all who are training for your next marathon soon. It will be possible to monitor your heart rate without having to strap a transmitter onto your chest.
This technology offers, first, a totally integrated system. So now the users have more than just a heart rate monitor. They could actually have external devices that help them. A shirt that talks to the watch and a shoe that talks to the watch. So with all this put together, the user can actually derive much more from this experience. Adidas basically have offered the best shirt that they have, the top of the range apparel that they have. A Climacool product. We have woven the transmitter belt onto the shirt itself, leaving with just a part that we can clip on the transmitter batteries. So it's a totally seamless technology. There's no stitching on it. It offers maximum comfort to the user. So users no longer feel like they are wearing something on the chest.
The footpod that measures speed and distance is now designed even smaller and lighter. The best part is, it's fitted inside the shoe for more accurate measurement. For serious runners, this is certainly the next step forward. I can't wait. It's actually cool that technology can help our bodies perform the way it's built. When we return, we'll have a look at sports and games of a different kind. Halftime, we'll be right back.
Talk to me.
There it goes again. Well, for many of us, the world of real sport is a thing of the past. And with technology running at 180 kilometers per hour, what you really need is a good console and an LCD screen. And with a sound system like this one, you can enter the virtual world of esports in style. Think of electronic sports as a form of physical activity that takes place in the virtual world. Practically anyone, regardless of age and ability, can participate. An amateur like me plays for leisure as a form of entertainment, but there are others who take the games very seriously. To them, esports is about competition, planning, and lots of practice. Some people just don't understand the concept behind this e-gaming thing. They might even roll their eyes at the idea that those who compete in international gaming tournaments can really be considered athletes.
What is sport? I think an activity that allows you to develop your sense of personal excellence needs a certain amount of commitment and dedication. In order to achieve that personal excellence, incorporates sense of fighting spirit. Esports is an activity that's on PC, mobile, or console that allows you to undergo that same kind of psychological kind of experience. I think games and sports are two sides of the same coin. Football is a game, it's also a sport. Cyber games are games, but it can also be a sport. It depends on how we evolve it as a sport. We must recognize that many young people today are excited about cyber gaming and that this is something that is rapidly spreading in terms of its enthusiasm and support. I think what we are trying to do is to create an environment whereby young people can be the best that they can be. If this is an activity that they want to do, why not do it well?
We call it a sport because we treat it in a very professional manner. To us, it's more than a game. It's not a hobby. It's not sitting down at a computer and just having fun. We train religiously. We eat right. We sleep right. We rest our eyes. We make sure we don't play for more than, say, 45 minutes at a go. We do a lot of planning. Most of the time we spend on the game is actually away from the computer, at a table, at a drawing board, planning strategies. It's a very, very intellectual game.
The World Cyber Games has been touted by some as the Olympics for esports, where cyber gamers celebrate new levels of skill, dexterity, and teamwork. It's no child's play. E-gaming requires a quick, decisive mind to plan tactical approaches and exceptional hand-eye coordination to execute the maneuvers. And just like the Olympics, it celebrates a spirit of sportsmanship and personal mastery of skills.
Well, if you're not a sports fan, then the concept behind a game and the fuzz it generates may just sound ridiculous. I mean, what is this about the whole world going crazy about a bunch of guys running and kicking a ball everywhere?
The idea of cyber gaming as a form of sports, however, is not a widely held perception. To many, e-gaming is just a fun activity, a bit of entertainment to relieve boredom or stress.
We're talking about esports here. How is esports defined?
It really depends on how you want to define. If you talk about electronic sports as in games that feature sports behind it, then that can be one definition. Or if you look at esports as competing sports, like a sports, you know, when you talk about sports, you talk about competition between two people, winning with the best man win, take it all. It's an eye-hand coordination with a little bit of logic behind and also understanding the game itself.
Cannot be!
If you've been playing this for the, let's say, the last 50 hours, your eye-hand coordination will be very good, right? You know where's the move, you know what's the next move, you can anticipate this move because unlike real sports, you can't anticipate when the next move is going to happen from this player or the other player.
I mean, if I practice real hard, I can be a top gamer too.
The consumer get into the emotion of the virtual world and give them a much stronger sense of escapism. And during that period of gameplay, you really immerse yourself in a different environment where, like you say, de-stress totally. And when they leave that game machine and the virtual world, they feel that they're refreshed, they have escaped from that moment, come back to real life.
Oh, looks like I'm getting good at this. We've killed over 200 enemies already. And for myself and for everyone else back here, e-gaming is all about having fun, relieving stress, and making new friends like Alfian over here. And at the end of the day, it's really how you look at it. You can escape from reality, just don't forget to go back. It's my turn to escape from reality now. I'm Timothy Go. That's it.
Talk to me. to me. If you feel the need or when you need the feeling, talk to me.
Hello everyone, I'm Timothy Go. You're watching another episode of That's IT. I'm actually doing something here in the office that I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm chatting, so shh. Chatting has become such a big part of my life. I do it anywhere and everywhere there's a computer. In fact, the first thing I do when I turn on my computer is log into Yahoo and MSN. So the good news for chatters like you and me is that MSN and Yahoo have linked up. That means if you're on Yahoo, you can contact your MSN friends, and if you're on MSN, you can do the same thing with your Yahoo friends. But what does this interoperability mean for both you and me? For that matter, is it as easy as it's going to be?
Hey, sexy. Instant messaging is big. It's huge. It's estimated 3 billion messages are sent daily on platforms such as Yahoo and MSN by the global online community. But its popularity isn't really that surprising. After all, instant messaging is a great way to stay in touch. It's free, it's easy, and it lets people communicate with many others at the same time, instantaneously. And its popularity is likely to grow further, especially now that Yahoo and MSN have integrated their services to enable 350 million users to chat and get in touch with each other.
Well, actually, to integrate our two services has taken quite a bit of development time. It's actually quite a complex operation to integrate messenger interoperability with another company. There are quite a number of concerns that the ordinary person doesn't think about, like user security. And with Microsoft, we've been able to address these issues very well.
But I guess what we really want to know is how easy it is to set up the new system. I'm on MSN right now, but I sure love to chat with all my friends on Yahoo and expand my buddy list.
It's actually quite simple. You go to the Yahoo site, you click download, the product downloads, so you're set up and ready to go right away, no issues. The process is just like adding a buddy that you had on Yahoo Messenger.
It's fun to be able to communicate with so many friends at the same time, but during this trial period, we can only chat with text when we do cross-platform IM. I wish we could do more, especially now that my chat circle has expanded. How about playing online games at the same time, or do video conferencing calls? Well, a pampered online user like me who has grown accustomed to a variety of interactive features like music, movie tie-ins, and games, chatting on text alone simply isn't enough. As much as I hate to admit it, I want more, so when I run out of things to say, I can always start an interactive game of tic-tac-toe with my friends on my chat list, or show them my latest holiday pictures. I'm sure many out there would want the same.
The instant messenger platform has really made it very easy for people to stay in touch in a much more richer way when you're at a distance from each other. I mean, I've just come back from the US and I have a 6-month-old child. I'm a new father. My wife was able to tell me our child was now crawling, but I was only able to really experience it through Windows Live Messenger, which we're able to do via video conferencing. And I was actually able to see both him crawling and obviously very up close a new tooth which has emerged now from the bottom of his gums.
Chatting is the easiest way to communicate or share a gossip with your friends, family, or even your colleagues, no matter where in the world you are. What's more, it's free, spontaneous, and increasingly mobile.
32-year-old Darren Ellis is a journalist who communicates with his friends and colleagues on instant messaging at least 2 hours every day. And he admits only half of that time is actually spent talking about work. But Darren believes chatting has made him more productive.
As a work tool, it definitely has. Because a lot of people were using chat and it's a lot easier and much more immediate than sending an email.
Instant messaging has become such an essential part of his day that Darren just can't stop, even when he is outdoors.
To be honest, with the chatting on my PDA, it's because it's cheaper and easier than sending 20 or 30 SMSs backwards and forwards, particularly if I'm talking to friends back home in Australia or in China or Taiwan.
There are more cafes and malls like Raffles City in Singapore that offer wireless access, which is good news for those who need to chat even when they're not hooked up with a PC at home or at the workplace. Still, despite his love for IM, Darren believes nothing will replace the good old company of his buddies face-to-face.
I think it's already taking out the face-to-face interaction to a certain degree. For a lot of business, a lot of it is being done via chat. Probably it's growing like email has as well, where email basically supplanted face-to-face meetings.
I love it when you type real slow.
Because I'm a writer, so a lot of written jokes and things like that actually come across much better in chat, where you can actually apply a lot of sarcasm, which you can't do vocally. So I guess for that, yeah, there are instances, but there's no way chatting is going to replace for me like face-to-face time with friends.
With a device like this, we can now chat no matter where we are. The question is, how sure are you that you're receiving legitimate messages from your friends and not files loaded with viruses and worms? Good questions. We'll have the answers for you when we return. You know, in the past, cyber attacks were designed to destroy data just inside your computer, but these days they have a brand new strategy and they take out personal information for profit, and often without warning. So your credit card number, bank accounts, personal information are all under threat, and it can all happen while you're chatting with your friend. So how would you know if a file or a link a friend sends you is harmful? And what are the other dangerous elements lurking in the virtual world?
We all know about the dangers of worms and virus attacks, and by now, most of us would have also heard about phishing, where net users are tricked into giving up their personal information supposedly for legitimate organizations that they have dealings with, such as banks or phone companies. In 2005, online users in the United States lost more than $900 million to phishers through email. And they're targeting the instant messaging platforms next.
By 2006, moving into 2007, it has been estimated that the amount of traffic for instant messaging would overtake email. So the amount of traffic that's being generated by instant messaging is growing exponentially. And hackers are looking at different ways to get your information that doesn't belong to them. So traditional way of phishing used to be email. Now they're employing instant messaging because there are more users using this communication tool.
Gosh, that sounds dangerous. There is, however, a slight difference between phishing through email and instant messaging. In the email environment, phishers typically pose as companies to trick us into divulging our passwords and sensitive information. But they go a step further in instant messaging, exploiting the circle of trust of friends and families. Did you know that cyber crooks can now hack into IM accounts, steal identities, and masquerade as your online friend? Once they've done that, they're able to get you to divulge your personal information, sending an interesting website for you to look at. When you log in with your personal info, they're tabbed and sent to the perpetrator. And you know, some of these phishers are quite devious. They'll lay trap by sending bogus files with innocent names like My Baby Photos. Trouble starts when you open the file. So we know who the enemies are, but how do we fight them or prevent their attacks?
One of the ways that we can overcome this is to make sure that when we create a profile for instant messaging, do not give out personal information, right? So date of birth, information about yourself, do not make this available. And also make sure that we have a strong security solution that would be blocking out bad URLs, or it could be blocking out infected files that are being sent over.
I, for one, would love to chat with my friends online without having to worry about someone stealing my personal information and credit card details. Especially when I do so much shopping on the net. I better be careful and double check with my friends when their messages start looking suspicious. The threat of instant messaging is not merely personal.
It has also become a serious concern for corporations which employ IM in the office. Like this public relations firm, employees here send instant messages to each other, even though they're just a few seats away. They also chat with their clients during and after office hours. IM is so prevalent here that it's fast becoming a part of their corporate culture.
The trend with our office has been to a lot more online communication. And I think having kind of an integrated solution that, that allows you to talk immediately via IM, to use email when you need it, and to be able to actually call people or send them SMSs from like the current Yahoo Messenger with voice. You can send an SMS to somebody's cell phone if they're not at their desk. I think it dramatically improves your ability to communicate with clients, so we want to be available all the time. We want to be responsive. And as long as the tools are easy to use and don't become overburdening, I think it's incredibly valuable for us, and it makes us look like we're available 24/7.
When instant messaging goes to the workplace, there are risks of abuse. The IM platform can become a medium for gossip and idle talk. Yes, I know, I'm guilty of that from time to time. But is there a real harm?
We don't monitor everybody's individual calls, what they're doing online on an everyday basis. We have the ability to track if we need to, but we have, we're a small office. I have high confidence in the team. I think actually it improves efficiency because I have no problem with somebody who needs to touch base with a family or friend to find out what they're doing tonight and using IM rather than, you know, sneaking off to go use a cell phone outside and spending 10 minutes. I still think from a business standpoint there's value to it. You're not going to stop people interacting with their friends and their family. This makes it more efficient. They can still be working.